There's some things that we're never going to understand. But if you look at the natural laws of this planet, you start watching some of these documentaries about the like about these sea amoebas and like sea crustaceans that are recycling our earth and are giving oxygen to the air, like, you would understand. Nah, man, there's God at play. Like, God's doing something, man. Like, there's something deep happening that we don't know. There's this divinity. There's this like divine intelligence like orchestrating this. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Mike here, or Personal Growth Now, bringing us another fantastic episode of Down to Earth, the podcast. So today's topic, we're talking about the purpose of being here, of us being here. So why are we here? And then I refer to these as the 3 E's. This is what I refer to this as. And we're going over the 3 E's, the purpose of why we're being here. And then secondly, we are going to be touching on divine order, talking a little bit of, this divine intelligence, divine timing. Do things happen for a reason? Do things happen within that divine source timing? Is there a reason to any of it? So this is one of my favorite topics. I've talked about it many other times before, but sit back, relax, hang tight. If you notice, these podcast episodes are, they are definitely improving. I'm adding on to them. So if you're really liking this material, go ahead and hit the like button, and I greatly appreciate it. And just to be sure that you got that bell notification on, you know the deal. You can get hit with updates on future videos and future contents if you do smash that bell icon. So I definitely appreciate you being here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Down to Earth. So what's going on, guys? It's Mike here, or Personal Growth Now, and we're talking about this first topic here, the purpose of us being here. And I refer to this as the 3 E's. So I believe that the purpose of why we're here is because of these 3 E's: evolution, expansion, and expression. So evolution, expansion, and expression. Now I'm going to be going over these briefly, but I do believe that we're here for these 3 purposes. I'm talking about on a collective level, right? And like on an individual level too. But we always get that question, like, does life hold meaning? Does life hold purpose? So we're going to be going over that here in a second. And we're going to touch on our second topic, divine order. But first, let's talk about these 3 E's, purpose of why we're here. So number 1 was evolution. So I do believe that we're here for evolution purposes, or else it wouldn't have occurred. It wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have known history as it is playing out today. Put in simple terms, if we look throughout history, there's a reason why it even occurred. And you look at this in plant life, you look at this in animal life. I've been watching a lot of different documentaries on Netflix. BBC also has some great documentaries I would recommend checking out. And there's so much good information that just, brings so much more information to the table, more so than just saying, oh, it's just evolution. So I would really suggest watching some documentaries, and if you're interested in these topics, it's just really cool to check out some of these different movies and TV shows. So evolution, pretty self-explanatory. We evolved, and I once made up this one joke one time, and I don't know why I thought about this, but one time I made up a joke, and I'm like, well, the monkeys and the gorillas that exist right now are just humans that didn't evolve. And it's like, if you look at the intelligence of a monkey, they're quite intelligent, man. They actually have proven that monkeys are like second to humans in intelligence, like apes and stuff. So if you think about that, that's pretty incredible. The fact that an animal can have that high of an intelligence, right? And like all animals operate on instinct, but some just they take it to the next level. You can tell that there is this like intellectual factor happening behind this. It's almost like they can reason. I mean, it's quite insane. Like, you can look into some of these different TV shows I've been talking about, these documentaries. Like, you can find them anywhere. I know BBC is really big on them, but you can find them anywhere on like Netflix or whatever, or on YouTube. And it just goes to show that like evolution, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't destined. You know what I'm saying? And it plays into like divine time and divine order. I love these topics. This is like my favorite topic ever, because like, do things happen for a reason? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that topic because it's so universal, and like everybody questions it at least to some point in their life, right? Like, at least to some degree. It's like, does any of this make sense? Like, does any of this matter? And I'm going to give a brief example here after I'm done with the 3 E's that actually, fine tune what we're talking about here. But like I said, like 3 E's, number one's evolution. So the evolution of things, just like how species have evolved, how animals, plants have evolved to like adapt to the tides. Like if you do the research with certain animals, like every next generation of animal species actually got smarter and more intelligent than the previous one. And like, that's kind of what evolution is. Like, if there was an animal that didn't need, gills or something anymore, like they've done studies on this, like you can research this, but there's been animals that were once had gills and now they don't, because they just didn't need it anymore. Like animals that had to breathe underwater for their survival are now living on land, but they don't need gills anymore. So they've evolved, and it has to do with physically evolving, like their brain structures, and it's also a deeper intelligence. And like I said, that's where it goes beyond just sight. That's where it goes on. And there is a personal evolution in the spirit, if you will. I really just do believe that there's this higher spiritual intelligence that also evolves with the tides of life and with the eras and with the different evolutionary periods of not only man, but mammals, animals. We can talk about reptiles, we could talk about insects, anything, man. Everything has evolved from the dawn of time. So let's go ahead and move on. I've been talking about evolution for a minute. Number 2 is expansion. And expansion is the whole purpose of the universe. And it kind of ties in. All these are going to tie in together. But expansion kind of goes hand in hand with the next one, which is expression. But expansion, in my opinion, is creation. It's like literally manifesting. That's where we get into like these topics like manifestation, right? Like manifesting certain parallel dimensional realities here now. Like we can do certain meditative, we can pray. I've talked about praying is an actual energetic event, and it actually comes off of your aura. So we're always praying, but most of us pray for what we don't want. And like, that's how we're feeling. And sometimes we're just going to feel grief. Like, we're going to feel sadness. We're not going to feel good. Like, that's a thing that's guaranteed. You're not always going to feel good all the time, and you're not always going to feel bad all the time. And that has to do with expansion as well, because feeling bad all the time wouldn't serve you. Think about it. It's just true. Like, feeling good, on the other hand, all the time, again, there's parallels here. You see what I'm saying? That wouldn't serve you either. So it's pretty, it's pretty interesting to think about. And I just believe, man, that we're here to expand. We're here to grow. We're here to learn new things. If we're not growing and evolving and adapting, we're dying. If we have no more desires and we're not pushing those boundaries, we're actually dying a little bit inside every single day. Because like we're meant to push the boundary. We're meant to risk, and appropriately risk, not like go crazy about it, but I call it appropriate risk. You know, we're here to risk appropriately. So what we need to do is grow. And how do we do that? The easiest method is just try new things, man. Risk being seen. Like, try new things. Talk to that person you've been wanting to talk to at the store. Like you gotta just go for it sometimes. Like, even if you're nervous, like that's you expanding. That's you expanding. So that's one version of it. But anytime you do anything new, like, you gotta be an open channel, man. Like, a lot of people are afraid today, but you got to be an open channel for universal expansion, because that's just the way of the needle, man. Like the needle's only moving forward, even though it appears it moves back sometimes. No, man. Like, the needle of time, the needle of life, like, everything's constantly forward moving and evolving, right? And expanding. And then that leads me to my third and final E here. The third and final E is expression. One of the most important ones. That's what I do on these podcasts. That's what you do in the comment section. That's what you do whenever you listen to other YouTubers. That's what they do, content creators, movie producers, actors, actresses. You know, we could talk about film production, music production, singers, songwriters, musicians, you know, chefs. Like, you are expressing. That's you expressing your passions. That's you expressing your essence, your soul essence. That's you expressing your gifts here in the physical. That's you, again, expanding and expressing. So we do have the 3 E's here, and they all tie in together, as you see. But expression, dude, that's like massive creating right there. Like, if you express yourself, and if you do things that are like new to you that you might be scared of or whatever, like, you are taking care of the other 2 E's right there, because you're evolving and you're expanding by expressing yourself. So you see how they're all tied in together. I love this concept of the 3 E's. And I didn't actually look this up anywhere. I actually coined this term. Like, I don't know if this is the actual 3 E's, but I just thought on the top of my head one night, you know what? The 3 E's, man. Because think about it, like, evolution, expansion, and expression. Those are the 3 main reasons why we're here. We wouldn't be here if we weren't supposed to express ourselves. We wouldn't be here if we were trying to play it safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would not be here if we were trying to play it safe, like, all the time. Like I said, don't take unnecessary risk, but take risk. Take appropriate action. You know, do something that scares you every day, like once a day. Like, that is one of the best things that you can do for your life. It's just once a day, do something that really scares the hell out of you, because you're taking care of the evolutionary cycle. Like, we're supposed to be here because of this. We are supposed to express ourselves. We're supposed to expand and evolve and adapt and learn, man. Like, and grow and keep listening to different, like, content creators and YouTubers. Keep listening to these podcasts, like, which, by the way, I appreciate the hell out of you being here. I always say in these podcasts, I rewatch my own podcasts just because I know that I do have a presence, and I'm forming a relationship with myself. But then I also coin and tune into the frequency of the listener, you know, and I sit back and I'm like listening to my own content, and I'm like following along just like you guys are. But anyway, like, I really appreciate you being here. Go ahead and comment down below, by the way. Like, I'm trying to start something different where I'm really tuning into these comment sections. Go ahead and comment down below right now something that scares you, like, really bad, to like think about, and, like, just be honest. Something that scares you, and something that you could do, like, today or tomorrow, that might change your life and might actually cause you to expand, express, and evolve. And we're talking about the 3 E's, right? Purpose of why we're here. So if you want to fulfill that purpose, and you want to help fulfill your own purpose and the purpose of the world at large and the collective, then what is one thing? Comment down below, like right now, like seriously, comment down below. Take the time, comment down below one thing that you could do to fulfill these 3 E's in your life, like today, tomorrow, and the next day. And then the second topic that we're hitting on is divine order. So I'm only going to touch on this briefly. This one's a bit of a shorter podcast, but divine order. Yeah, I always use this example. I use the same example every single time. It's the same example every time. If you look up at the stars, you know, and you really understand the constellations, and you really understand, you know, you must understand that everything's divine. Everything's divinely placed. There's a divine order. There's a divine timing for your destiny. Like they're like destiny moments, as I call them. Like there really is divine purpose in your life. So there's not only a purpose, but there's divinity within that. So there's a spiritual essence that calls those divinities to place themselves in correct order for your evolution. So if you look up at the stars, like there's not one star that's not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like every star in the galaxy has a name and it's supposed to be there. You know, there's nothing random, or else it wouldn't be placed right there. There's nothing random. I was kind of thinking about one of those documentaries I'm watching on Netflix recently, and it was actually talking about like the different aspects of water, and how a lot of our fresh water is actually collected underground in tunnels and caves, and it's actually slightly acidic due to the rain. And everything's so divine though, because see, like that's all up under there, and like our freshwater system here on Earth is a living being, man. It's a living thing, and it's so intelligent. That's what I'm talking about, this whole divine order placement thing, is that everything in the universe is so divine. Like, because a lot of times we think, like it kind of gets a little bit strange, doesn't it, whenever we talk about free will in the actual person, like the human being, because then we can talk about free will and how, you know, you can use your free will to sort of go around divine ordinance, you know what I'm saying, like, or God's, quote unquote, God's will. You know, I'm not going to get into that in this video because we're actually starting to wrap this one up, but I just wanted to plant those seeds, man. Like, talk about divine order and divinity, and how the earth is a living, breathing substance, and like there's all this fresh water kept in like in the Antarctics, and you know, just in case like something catastrophic were to happen, there's always like freshwater reserves if we need that, like because obviously we need water to survive. And that's what I'm saying, is that there's an intelligence that is an abundance, man. Like there are now, I saw this in another movie one time, and this was a factual movie. This was like a nonfiction film, and they were talking, I can't remember exactly, but they were talking, I think it's somewhere over in like Africa, that there's these trees, and like every year these trees, you know, there's this ash that the trees are like fertilized from. Like there are these massive sandstorms over in like Egypt and like across the world, and some of these sandstorms actually fertilize the African trees, like, and they actually fertilize the rainforest. Like, it's crazy. Like there's like amoebas, man. There's like intelligent, there are intelligent like microbes in the ocean, right, that actually help fertilize our lands and help fertilize our seas. Like, everything's a recycle system, man. Everything on Earth is a recyclable system. Like, everything recycles. If it rains, you know what I'm saying? Think about that one. If it rains, condensation in the clouds, and all the water from the ground is evaporated. But where does that go? It goes back down. It goes back, straight back down to where it came from. As above, so below. As within, so without. So we have these laws, man, and it's just so divine to think about how structured and how of order, life really is. And there's so much truth in that. It's just so much, there's such an order to it. And I just want us all to realize that, it's too easy sometimes to think that things aren't happening in divine order and like for divine purpose. And I understand, man, because I'm with you. Like, it seems like, oh my gosh, why did this happen in life? Why did the virus happen? Why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to this person? There are some things that we're never going to understand. There's some things that we're never going to understand. But if you look at the natural laws of this planet, you start watching some of these documentaries about about these sea amoebas and like sea crustaceans that are recycling our earth and are giving oxygen to the air, like, you would understand. Nah, man, there's God at play. Like, God's doing something, man. Like, there's something deep happening that we don't know. There's this divinity. There's this like divine intelligence like orchestrating this. And it's just like it's set into motion how the earth can recycle its waste, and then it can expunge its waste. Like, it's crazy. But this is one of my favorite topics. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it. Last example would simply be, we breathe in oxygen and then we expel the waste and the carbon. And then similarly, anytime we eat, we actually, where's that go? It goes to waste. And then that leaves our body. So there is this recyclable, like there's the intelligent recycle thing. So like, even if you're going through hard times, just adding on to this, those hard times and those anxieties and everything aren't wasted. Those things can be recycled. Though, in fact, it's an absolute law. Look at everything. Look at everything in the whole universe. Everything's recycled, man. Everything's recycled. So like, I once heard Eric Thomas was saying something about that. Is like, he said something about recycling your pain. And, again, I'm not going to get into that exact topic here in this podcast because we're wrapping it up now. But just think about that for a second. Like, if you're ever really discouraged, it's like, no, realize that no matter what it is, everything's recycled. Everything must recycle itself throughout life, man. That's just the way it goes. If it's from the earth, it must recycle itself. So I also believe, in spiritual practice, as far as like recycling spiritual divinities too. Again, that's kind of a topic in and of itself, but I'm saying don't get discouraged, because like your pain has a purpose, life has meaning. There are absolutely meanings in these things, man. Like, there's some stuff that we're never gonna figure out, but we can look up at night. We can realize that the earth is very intelligent. It's a living, breathing consciousness within itself. You know what I'm saying? Just with how perfectly everything operates. And then we get to talk about the evolution of not just the earth, but spiritually and humans, and it's crazy, man. But anyway, this was a great episode. I appreciate you being here. This was we talked about the purpose of why we're here, the 3 E's. Remember, evolution, expansion, and expression are why we're here. And go ahead and, before I take this off, go ahead and like this video and share it if you really enjoyed it. Like, and if you know another YouTuber or something, go tell them to check out Personal Growth Now. We talk about some really cool subjects on this channel and really cool topics. But comment down below one thing that you could expand on, one thing that you could do that would be like vastly different, that could change not only like your world, but the world around, like the world around you, for other people around you and for other people in the world. Like, immediately, like, I'm talking about family, friends, but not just family and friends, but like everybody, like the world at large eventually. But like an action step, like, be courageous, man. Like, it could be like a courageous act. But I'm saying, what's one thing that you've been really wanting to do that you haven't done? Maybe it's like make more videos on YouTube. Maybe it's start a channel. Maybe it's like start like an art group on Facebook or something. You know, it could be anything, man. Like, now's the time to do it. Like, now's the time to, you know, talk about different business ideas and start collaborating with friends. And, you know, I got an email in my on my page. If you go over to the About Me section on you can actually look at my email, like email me, like you know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to collaborate with like minds. That's us expanding, expressing, and evolving here. So I'm really curious, man. What's one thing that's been scaring the hell out of you that maybe you could just take that step on? You could just take that risk and you could bring that into existence and help everybody. You're helping. You don't think you are, man. You are. You're helping the consciousness at wide, because every time you do something new, you give other people like the idea to do the same. Like, you inspire them to do the same thing. So you're changing lives. This is what it means to expand and express ourselves. So just be courageous, man. Take this message and be courageous and allow us to really be heroes in everyday life, man. It doesn't take as much as you think, but it does take a little bit of courage and a little bit of love, a little bit of faith and love and courage and hope. And you just mix all this together and we expand and we grow. So thanks for checking out this week's episode of Down to Earth. I will see you in next week's episode. Be sure you're tuning in, and thanks for watching.